Yeah, really grateful to be here.
Thank you. I guess Shari.
You know what I'm grateful for? Um, yeah, a lot of things came to mind, but definitely being on track and feeling energy despite less sleep, and the support of the community and the friendships and the family and where I live, and just, I mean, I can't stop smiling most days. So something's working here, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
That's awesome. And Farah?
I'm grateful for Doug Graham. I'm grateful that he wrote the book 80-10-10, which came to me somehow about a year or so ago. And I'm grateful that I found it and read it. I'm grateful that I found Let's Cook Raw and met you, Larissa, because I feel like it's really changed my life. I'm also grateful for the difficulties that I face, the health challenges, and the different problems that I encounter, because it helps me want to stay on the path of being a raw vegan. And every time I have a health challenge, it just encourages me more and more to continue on the path.
Mhm.
Carrie, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I'm also grateful for Dr. Graham and his comments today. Just reminding me about what's important and what I do want for my family and for myself, and making and being part of this group and Let's Cook Raw, just being with people who have a similar mindset, because I don't have that in any of my friend group or my family. And it's just really nice to be able to know that I'm doing the right thing. And when I have mistakes or questions or concerns, it's really helpful to be able to sort of work those out right away. So I'm very grateful for the show and for you, Larissa, and for this group and the feedback that we get, and just seeing what other people are doing and making sure that I just want to know that I'm doing the right thing. So I'm super grateful for that.
Thank you. And Gina, can you say something? I know what you're grateful for. I can see it in your picture.
I'm grateful for another day, for friendship, for this group, for my family, for baby Ava. I'm grateful for abundance of fruit that I get to eat, and I'm grateful for all the seasons that about to come, and I'm grateful for meeting you, Larissa, and I'm grateful for knowing all of you guys. Thank you very much. You have influenced my life, and my life is changing for the best. Thank you. I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, I just realized we don't have Sylvie. This is totally my fault. Apparently, she doesn't have a link. So let me just send her a link quickly. And anything, guys, that we have to know to help you to continue and be happy and healthier. Anything we should address today in the meeting? Anybody needs support?
I think that I need support in managing my cravings for fats. I still struggle with that. I don't have cravings for the cooked food, but still have struggles with the fat. So I would really appreciate your support in that.
Anybody
Thank you.
contribute to that?
Yeah, I also find that if I don't have enough fat, I'm not satisfied enough. And I haven't done a good job of, when we talked about this in the group, and Sarah had mentioned having the large fruit meal before your dinner salad, for example. And I'm finding that I'm not able to eat so much food. Like if I ate a big fruit meal half an hour or so before, like maybe I need to eat it even sooner, then I can't eat my salad, and then I'm eating the salad like an hour later or 2 hours later, and then just not feeling satisfied enough. If I put like an avocado on, or if I have some seeds, like I just feel like it just helps, but then my fat is way too high for the day. So I am struggling with that as well, for sure. And then that just makes me crave it, and I'm like snacking on pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, or like I'll just take, like I'll eat a whole avocado.
Well, I would like to say it's temporary. It's temporary. Let's just say it is temporary. Okay, it's a transition, and all it is your brain strives for familiarity. Your brains remember how you feel when you eat fat, and that's in your memory. When something different comes in, maybe a little bit not the full satisfaction, your brain says, I need to have that fat to feel the way I used to feel. All it is, it's slowly, step by step, day by day, meal by meal, reprogramming how you feel. Now I don't have to feel completely full to be satisfied. And it took years. It took me years, but the thing, I didn't do it the way I'm doing right now. Like every single week, I have reinforcement. I have you who I feel responsible to. So it's normal. It will go away. You just have to, like Shari lost her desire for cooked food. The same, you're gonna lose your desire for fat, and you will strive. I was the fataholic. Okay, I used to put 1 inch of butter on my 1/4 inch bread. That's how fatty I was. My gallbladder only was removed because I ate so much fat. My kids were telling me, Mom, you're gonna have heart attack. I was eating butter by packs. I was eating clothed cream, literally spooning up. I couldn't eat the whole bottle. Then I feel sick, and then all this guilt and all these things happening. And then just slowly start inching out that fat. Last week, I didn't have any fat. I only had half avocado in whole week. I couldn't believe it. I'm scared that my brain now, it's not reacting to the absence of fat. And all it is, it's you are looking for familiarity, how you feel. So just that little baby step, eliminating things things you already eliminated. I mean, you tell, each of you can say, okay, I eliminated this and I don't crave it anymore. Fat is the same thing. It's no different. And I'm telling you, I was fataholic. That's why I can say it with confidence. It's just the habit. Takes time.
Larissa, it's really good to hear your experience with that, because it really rings true for what it's been like for me. Because I know 1 year ago, when I committed to get back to raw after I had been 6 months with doing cooked food dinners, I allowed myself as much fat as I needed at dinner to stay raw, right? That was sort of my agreement, was like, I want to stay raw. I'm going to eat as much avocado as I need to sort of be satisfied. And you're so right, Larissa, with just that association of like, that's how we fill up, like that's how we mentally feel satisfied. And Carrie, I just want to share that, like, it's so rewarding for me to see, like, over the past year, like how different that has become, because now I am tracking and chronometer, and I see that some days my fat is, like what Larissa said, so low, and I actually feel really good, and I feel like, wow, actually I kind of want to like have a day today with no fat. Like I like that feeling. Whereas before it was like, oh my gosh, I need the fat, I need the fat. Like I need to be, it's like my security blanket, right? And we just hang on to that. And so give yourself time to transition, like she said, and just keep doing your best to get as much fruit in as you can. But I think the calories matter. I think you do need to have enough fruit. And you said something that I wanted to share what Doug said. He said he likes to do his afternoon fruit meal. Let's just say it's like 4 o'clock. Like it's maybe a big mango smoothie, he would say, or whatever is going to be his like dinner fruit meal. And then he might exercise, he might do something else, he might, work on preparing the veggie meal for an hour, but he gives himself enough time so that maybe like the veggie dinner meal is at like 6. And so what you were saying is true. Maybe you want to back up your fruit meal earlier, give yourself enough time to digest, and then you're not pushing the veggie meal so late that it doesn't feel good either. And so in Costa Rica, we would have the fruit meal at like 5:30 and we would have the veggie meal at 5:45. Like it was so close. And I think that was tough for a lot of people, but that was just logistically the way it went. But I find like here, I've been having like a big bowl of oranges last night. And then I do a lot of the preparation for the veggie meal. We went on a bike ride, we come back, then the veggie meal, we sit down and we have it. So there's time between if I need it or if I don't, it just sort of depends. Is that helpful at all?
Yes, absolutely. Because I was having trouble eating all that food and feeling like in chronometer, I needed the calories, but I couldn't get it in. And then, yeah, I was just getting frustrated. But
Yep.
when you said about the fats, did that happen sort of on its own, like kind of through time? Or did you consciously start decreasing them, or like was it sort of like, oh, I just noticed I don't need them as much anymore, like it kind of happened by accident?
More by accident, I
Yeah.
would say. I wasn't trying to reduce it. I was trying to aim for this like right 10%. I very rarely even hit 10% anymore. I'm usually hitting 4% or 5%. And that's even with eating it. On a day that I don't eat it, it's like 1%. And so it was not intentional, Carrie, at all. It was totally just kind of a result of like, oh, I'm like, now that I'm getting into the big like 500 calorie dinner fruit meal, a lot of times I don't want the vegetable meal. I'm like, eh. And that's kind of what Doug said. He said, eat enough fruit at dinner to be fully satisfied, and then eat as little or as much veggies as you want, or not at all.
Okay, yes, that is helpful, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I think for me, I had to really allow the mental shift of not feeling like I was missing something if I wasn't getting this big veggie meal every night, like I was losing nutrition or, not keeping everything in balance. But I've let that go. And I think his talk last week really spoke to that, like fear of nutrients. And when I consider how good I feel with getting enough fruit calories through the day, then I don't really sweat the details of like, how many veggies did I get today? Like if I want it, I eat it. If I don't want them, I don't eat them.
So, and another thing would kind of, I think kind of ring the bell for me. I am doing once a week, I'm doing water fast. It's on Tuesday. So today I'll eat my cooked food, whatever, show food, which is not really the usual food, right? Then Monday, I will do just fruit. And Tuesday, I will do water fast. And then so Wednesday, when I eat watermelon, what happened, I have a huge flush. Every single week it's happened. I have I think my liver flashing, and it's like all my insides are burning when it's coming out. It's like yellow, I mean, excuse my details. But I think the fat, when I was eating fat was holding that detoxification. And once I eliminated fat and do that every week fast, my liver just sheds the stuff continuously. So I think once you start eating less fat happily, then your body almost will allow to start eliminating much better, detoxing much better, and then your clarity of, your mind will increase, your mood increase, your confidence increase, and from there just rolling fast, really fast. Like there's nothing you cannot do. Am I right, Sarah?
I agree.
So you just have to stick with that, and don't sweat the details. I'll just go for a ride, and it's really too late to think what you're gonna eat when you're hungry. At that point, it's too late. You have to plan your day a little bit in advance. Right now, for me, I don't have to plan it. I know I can come in my kitchen and find everything I need, but I would like to repeat, it kind of should be your mantra. Hydrating fruit in the morning, sweet fruit in the afternoon, acidic fruit in the evening, last part of the day, following by vegetable meal. That's kind of a formula that you have to constantly use. That if a hydrating fruit for my morning. Watermelon works fine, melons works fine, peaches, I mean mangoes, something that is really will, give that liquid that you need. Because if you're not eliminating, the stuff is there, need liquid. That's all it needs. It needs to be softened, and it just cannot be digested and then eliminated. It has to kind of, you holding it there. So, but it's only from my perspective, and I can only offer my perspective. I don't have Dr. Graham perspective of thousands of people. That's my experience. And again, it was good experience. So hopefully it helps.
And Carrie, I don't know if it helps at all, but I literally was hanging on by a thread for 2 years to stay raw. And I, as Farah was discussing, I had serious health issues, and I have a few still, as you guys know. But I was just so afraid of ending up in the hospital again. I was so afraid of having another pain episode. And so it was really a grind to stay raw. I mean, smelling cooked food, my husband eating cooked food, restaurants, everything was so, so difficult. I was so challenged, and it was rough. It was really rough. And this is I'm in the 4th year with a couple bouts of going back to cook food for, 6 months here and 3 months there. But it does get easier. And now I'm very rarely tempted. I mean, things smell good, of course, you walk by somewhere and you smell something and you're like, oh, that smells good. But then, like Larissa has said, and like Doug says, like, you just know how you feel when you eat this way. And it's so helpful to have some of that under your belt. And that just takes time and experience, and sort of like having let's call it a mistake, and you don't feel so good. And then you're like, oh yeah, actually I was feeling really good. Like, just, you have enough of that experience, which you just have to put the time in. And so I wouldn't give yourself any expectations of how this has to go. Just like, you're doing your best, and keep at that.
And that's why we give it a year, because it takes time.
Yeah, I often think of that, because I've done other things that have been like a month or 2 months, and I did great for the time, and then as soon as it's done, then that's the end of it. So the year is definitely needed.
Okay.
Sarah, I have something to say. Sarah, I feel for you with the hanging on by a thread, because I got in a position where I felt like that too, where I was having some major health challenges, which came up out of nowhere last year, but I was definitely getting symptoms throughout my 12-year journey of being raw, and having the Hep C congesting my liver and creating the backup sort of LA traffic jam in there, gallbladder issues, all kinds of stuff started happening. And I started going back to eating cooked food. I mean, it just was easier. I was challenged, physically, emotionally. It felt like I was really totally not committed to being raw anymore, because it was just too hard. I didn't feel well. And so it was really, hanging on by a thread, like you said. And, but I've noticed, okay, so the last 2 winters, and suggested by Doug that I go no fats, because every time I would eat fats, I get major congestion. And so I took the overt fats out for 2 winters, 3 months, almost the whole entire winter with no fats. And now that I've cleared the Hep C out, what's happened is I feel like I can eat fats now, but I feel like part of my headaches were coming from lack of omegas. I feel like the headaches were happening because I wasn't getting enough omegas. Now you get omegas in fruits and vegetables as well, and you get 4 or 5% fat, not eating any overt fats. You can get fats from butter lettuce. Why do you think they call it butter lettuce? Because it has fat in it. Mangoes, those are fatty. So you can get 4 to 5%, but to get that other 5%, you really need to eat overts. That's what babies' brains are made of. They need fat to form. And I think part of my headaches were the lack of fats. So lately, I've been eating more fats than I should, and I'm feeling better. And if I eat fruit in the evening, it keeps me awake. I cannot eat fruit in the evening. I tried it 2 nights ago and I could not fall asleep. So for me, I'm having a totally different experience. I can eat fruits in the morning. I can eat fruits for lunch. I've gained back weight. I got down to 89 or 90, 98 pounds. And now I'm up to like 1.7, 1.8. So within the last 3 weeks, since my fast for 5 days, which was a game changer because it cleared all this congestion out of my liver, and I was able to digest fats again. Now my body's like, I need to have fats every night. So I'm mindful of that. That really I don't want to go to the other end of this spectrum, with the pendulum swinging, because we have a tendency as humans to do that. Try to find the Tao. What's right for Feather? What's good for Feather? Do you need fats every night? My headaches are gone, pretty much gone. And I really firmly believe it was lack of omegas for me. Besides, the congestion and all that, I think it was lack of omegas. So yeah, I'm eating a little bit more fats, but I'm a happy camper. I'm starting to sleep better. My skin isn't dry. My hair isn't falling out. There's a lot of different things. My eyes have cleared up. And you need fats, but you need enough. And how much is that enough for each person? Because I feel like every person is opening day on Broadway. Yes, we want to target around 10%, but some people, can do good on 15. I know Jesse Bogotonga, he eats a little bit more fats, and he's an educator, and he, thrives on a little bit more fat. And I think the target really is to keep it low, but I think it's the Goldilocks approach for every single individual. I don't think it's just you have to target this and this is the way it is. I really think that we're all individually unique. And if I had a deficit going on, well, maybe I need a little bit more for a little bit. And then, I'm going to balance it out again, because I can tell you 2 months with no fats, I was very cold, shivering all the time. It was uncomfortable, you guys. And so that's an extreme. Yes, I know it is. But I had issues that I didn't even know I had. I didn't know I had hepatitis C. I might have had it from birth. My mother died of it. So I don't even know how long I've had it. I don't know how long my liver has been compromised, thanking my body, dealing with this for years and years. Now, on Wednesday, I go in for my last labs. If I have undetected, they declare me Hep C free. That's this Wednesday. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know, if any of you knew of any of that going on with me, but yeah, it's I don't feel like I'm making mistakes. I feel like I make choices, and those choices get results. Did I like the results? If I didn't like the results, I changed the choice I made. It's that simple. I don't think that we're here to make mistakes or not make mistakes. We're just making choices. And those choices are we happy about them or are we not happy about them? And so, as I'm going along and listening to my body's telling me it needs a little bit more right now because it's having to sort of find another balance. And then I'll go back to maybe a little bit lower. So, anybody have any comments on that?
Oh, I think it's absolutely, you have to find your own personal levels. I think that's why it's so hard, because someone else can't tell you exactly what to do.
And I think for the same person, it's going to change from time to time in our lives. At least that's what I've noticed for myself.
Yeah, especially with Gina. She just had a baby. She needed the baby's forming the brain in her body. She needs a little bit more, maybe, and she's nursing now. So yes, I agree with you, Sarah. It's not the same formula the whole time, that it can fluctuate whether you're young, old, working out, training, how many calories are you eating? There's a whole bunch of variables that are happening. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' awareness. It doesn't have to be such cut and dry, count your calories and do it this way. I think what Doug, and I've known Doug for years. It's my 13 year of being raw vegan, pretty much. And, his approach with the Goldilocks approach is it's just right for you. It's not so much just 80-10-10 and that's it. That's just like a guideline. That's kind of like an example to kind of overall over your whole journey of a year, say, that you're kind of eating within those ranges. But that Goldilocks approach is really opening day on Broadway. And every person is that opening day on Broadway. You've got your own, genetics and predispositions and needs and calorie demands, and there's all kinds of things going on. So I just wanted to kind of throw that into the pot and see what you guys thoughts were about that. And yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me.
I think rule of thumb is listen to your body, not the cravings. You have to distinguish two of those voices. One voice is the wrong voice, and the other voice is your really internal body feeling, sensing voice. So once you discover that, you'll be able to make, the body wants you to make right choices.
And I think that voice, the other voice, not the voice that we want to have happen in our life, I think it comes from patterns, addictions, uh, smells can trigger it, wanting to belong. Sometimes it's an emotional thing. I mean, it can come from a lot of different things that can trigger that. So you're right on, Larissa, because you really need to differentiate between those two voices. What voice is coming up now? And even if it's a voice that, you say, okay, I'm doing this because I had a deficit, and and it's coming from, maybe a need that you're having emotionally, and you feel that, and you're feeling that. That's okay too, as long as you know what voice it is. And I think that's important, Larissa, that you can differentiate between the two. And that takes practice, takes time.